NXT champion. And of course, he is a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Philadelphia, let's get loud for the one and only, and help us welcome back Seth Rollins!
Kidding, it's hot in here.
I told you.
I made a joke that we're going to do this Q&A in our underwear, so that includes everybody, not just me, all right?
Yay?
Yay, nay, maybe, I don't know. We got a few thumbs up.
Well, I said this to you backstage, but I think on behalf of everyone here, welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you. We've been 7 months, so it's good to hang out with everybody, so. Get the show on the road.
And it's amazing that it's a relatively short amount of time between your Wizard World stops and any of your appearances in general. Because when I read that you had torn 3, 4, 5 dozen spots, I thought you were going to be gone for a couple of years. What goes through your head when something like that happens?
You know, the first day after I hurt my knee was the first day of recovery for me. So I'm a very goal-oriented person, and for me it was just about getting going, doing something new, whether my goal was, to win the world title at WrestleMania or to just make it back by WrestleMania. I always got something in mind, so I just put the same work ethic that I put into my daily grind, doing the shows and all that stuff, into my rehab, and that was it, man, just trying to get back as soon as possible.
You, Cena, Cesaro, and others all seem to get injured around the same general time. Is there almost like a competition who can come back faster?
There might have been. There might have been a healthy competition between the three of us. Yeah, we John's a mutant, everybody. Everybody knows that. He's had well-documented recoveries where he's done, half the time of what they expected, and his shoulder is no exception. Coming back last Monday was insane as well. So he's a guy who, he sets the bar pretty high, and Cesaro's an insane work ethic type individual as well. So we were all kind of on the same page, trying to get back as soon as possible. So that was fun. Yeah, they were very helpful in that regard.
I don't want to take up too much time away from the line here, but I want to ask if at any point you, John, Cesaro, I know I can't speak for them, but with you coming back so early, is there doubts that maybe you're rushing your return?
No, zero doubts on that. I wasn't going to come back till I was 100% regardless. I wanted to be back for WrestleMania. So. I thought I was almost ready to go then, but I knew I still had a little bit of time left. Wanted to make the return as big as possible, and if it wasn't going to be WrestleMania, I wanted to be 100%, like no questions asked. So back on the road this weekend. From here, I'm going to North Texas to do some live events. Get back on the horse, and we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good to have you back. Good to have you back.
You think I'm going to come back and hang out with Tyler Breeze? No offense. I'm a big fan of Breezango, but I'm right where I should be.
Fair enough, fair enough. Thank you for your patience. This guy got in line long before we told him to get in line. So please, sir.
All right, so first off, congratulations. I respect how you handled everything. And I know that it must have been terrible being off the road, but what parts did you enjoy being home for the first time in a while?
Well, it wasn't that terrible, to be honest with you. I've been wrestling since I was 18 years old, and this was easily the longest break that I've had. So it was very nice for me to be home with my family. I got to watch football every Sunday from my couch. Just do normal things. The first couple months after surgery really sucked because I was kind of confined to a pretty rigid, stiff brace that wouldn't allow me to, do anything besides crutch around. So that sucked. But once I got through the first couple months and the pain started to subside and I could sleep again, it was nice to just be around my friends and family and be able to take trips when I wanted to and kind of enjoy life. A lot of people forget that we're on the road 300 days a year when we're working, and I've done that for the past 3 years straight, so I really haven't had any time to enjoy what, regular life. I got to do like kind of a Monday through Friday thing for a little while, so it was cool to just hang out and do my own thing. I enjoyed the time off. It was a nice little breather. Not to say I'm not excited to be back, because work's awesome, but...
We're all glad you're back.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. You can move the microphone down.
Yeah, I'll go down with that.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Why do you have Triple H's finisher when Tyler Black had all these great finishers?
Well, first of all, how old are you? I feel like you're not even old enough. Somebody put you up to that question. I feel like you're not old enough to know who Tyler Black is or what he did. But the fact that you're asking me that question kind of provides your answer as well, and that might be a little bit for you to understand, but I'll explain. So, I'm a bad guy, guys, right? I'm a bad guy. So, the less I do for you to like me, the better I'm doing my job. You get it? You get it? You understand? Makes sense a little bit? And hey, look, there's two guys in the history of WWE that have used a pedigree for a finishing move. Two, all right? And the other one, he did all right for himself with it, so I don't hate it one bit.
Hi. So you're my favorite wrestler and you've inspired me to become one. So I was wondering what advice you have for someone who wants to be a wrestler.
Well, thank you for the question. Well, first of all, enlist the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, and you can learn from the very best. But second of all, just work hard and be patient. I mean, that's really all I can say. A lot of kids that come to my school and they want to learn, but they also want opportunities right away, and it doesn't always happen like that. It took me 6 years to get to WWE, and 3 years in developmental before I made it to the main roster. So just understand that it's a very long process. And that 6 years to get to WWE, that's pretty quick. That doesn't happen for a lot of people. So if you put in the time and you do the work, there's no like secret formula, secret answer, or anything like that. You just gotta kind of buckle down, focus, find a goal, work every day to achieve that goal, and understand that it's gonna take some time. I mean, there's no like secret recipe or pill or any kind of advice that's gonna like set you apart. You just gotta do the time, put in the work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CrossFit Jesus, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
You got a low carb communion or low carb?
I eat all the carbs, my friend.
All right, Seth, my big fan, brother. I love your work. Question I had, something I had to ask you. I'm a big fan of one of your buddies named CM Punk.
Is he a buddy of mine? Are we Punk buddies?
Sort of, maybe not.
All right, anyway.
But the question is, he echoed one of the sentiments of what I feel is today in WWE, you see a lot of micromanagement. In other words, what I'm saying is a lot of the promos are word for word. In other words, a guy hands you a script, read it word for word, as opposed to the old days, NWA, Attitude Era, when you kind of got some bullet points and can wing it, improv. My question is, which style of promo do you prefer? When someone hands you something, say, read this, or when you can go out there and kind of like do your own thing and wing it? Indie style, I should say.
Well, interesting that you're so in tune with what goes on backstage, because I've never seen you backstage. CM Punk maybe influenced you to think certain ways, but that's fine. Punk's got his own opinions. To me, whatever works, There's a reason that our promos have become more written out and more thought out. It's because guys have less experience cutting promos on the fly. So it's just a different industry than it was, 20 years ago. And that's okay. We don't have to go back to the Attitude Era or before and say it was better then because. I think that a lot of times, we harken back to those days and, what it used to be and all that, but hey man, wrestling's pretty awesome right now. Like, it's still awesome. And I know we live in a world where constantly micromanaging everything on our devices and social media and stuff like that, and we forget to just kind of appreciate what's going on. But for me, it's whatever works. Some guys need to go over their stuff line for line, word for word, and some guys, it doesn't work for them that way. I think the best of the best, if you look back in history, are the guys who can do it all. So for me, I like to be able to do both. That's just my thing.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
I work in catering. I prepare the chicken breast backstage, so just letting you know.
Oh yeah, all right. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Oh my gosh. Sure.
No worries, it's fine.
All right, hey Seth. My question is, what is the hardest sacrifice you had to make being in the wrestling industry?
Ooh, hardest one. That's tough. There's a lot of them. I would say just relationships. You know, when you're in a relationship, and I'm talking about a romantic relationship, yes, you spend a lot of time focusing on yourself in our industry, and it's very hard for you to, or for me anyway, to make the sacrifice to be, you know, 100% for another person all the time. And it's just very difficult. To be successful, you have to be really selfish in the industry, I think, because this is your life. You're committed to it. WWE is my mistress, and there's nothing that I'm ever going to